Hello, everybody, and welcome to this second edition of Phonema's revisitation of previous collaboration with composers. Last time we revisited our collaboration with Marisol Jimenez, and today we're going to be talking about our collaboration with Ecuadorian composer residing in Germany, Mesias Maiguashca, and in particular about a piece that Phonema commissioned and performed 4 times titled Ocho ejercicios para oír lo inaudible, which roughly translates as 8 exercises to hear that which is inaudible. Pablo and Nina, welcome. Thank you for being here. And could you please tell us, Pablo, about our collaboration with Messias, how it started?
Yeah, thank you, David. So this collaboration dates back from the year 2014 during one of our visits to Mexico. We happened to be there 3 times for some reason the same year. And the last of these 3 visits was in Morelia for a festival by an institution called CMAAS, which works on technology. And the festival was centered around technology. And Messias was guest composer during that festival, and I didn't know him at the time, but I remember everybody with whom I would talk marvelous things about Messias. Everybody would be talking about Messias. He was like the star of the festival. And so during my return to Chicago, I started to research about him, and then his story, his life, his music was so fascinating that I got in touch with him, and everything went very positive. He was enthusiastic about the idea of collaborating with Phonema. He decided to write a new piece for us, and then we gathered support from important institutions who were on board for the project. So we had the Goethe Institute supporting us. We had the Frequency Festival in its first edition inviting us to perform with the Renaissance Society at the same time, our first collaboration with them. And finally, on February of 2016, we got to premiere his piece at the Bond Chapel at the University of Chicago campus. And we had the privilege to have Messias visiting us. So the Goethe Institute arranged a whole week of events for him. And then after that, I have to say, this has been one of the most prolific and meaningful collaborations of Phonema, because we got to expand the project with support from the Fon Siemens Foundation. We got to bring the piece to his native Ecuador. So we were there in Cuenca, we were there in Quito. We presented the piece for the first time there for different audiences, people who were acquainted with Messias, fans of Messias, people who didn't know Messias in his own country. And then also thanks to David, we got to bring the piece to the West Coast. So we presented it at the Scripps College in California. So it's one of the pieces that we have presented in the most diverse places for so many different audiences. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey that we hope to keep expanding. And so it's very exciting to revisit this piece actually during this series.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. And I should add that Phonema has performed this piece 4 times. The first time, as Pablo said, was in Chicago, and that was under his direction. And then I took it from there, and we brought it to Ecuador and performed it twice there, in Cuenca and Quito, and finally in California. Nina was the soprano for all 4 performances, and I wanted to ask you what your experience with Messias music has been, and what you could tell us about this very special work.
Well, I can tell you that it is one of the most mystical and enigmatic pieces I have ever performed. It's not the sort of piece that you ever feel that you're executing, but rather a piece that you're part of channeling. So you really feel that you're bringing something into being. It has a shimmering life of its own each time you perform it. It's an extremely fascinating piece. It was written to invoke 3 different types of communication. So communication from humans to spirits, communication from spirits to humans, and then communication from spirit to spirit. So it's a piece that's designed to explore this space in between our tangible fingers in the dirt world and the spiritual world, the world behind the world under the river under the river, these sort of mystical reflections that are all around us. The piece was structured with large sections of really dense sonic material. It's guitar, accordion, flute, and vocalist with metal bar. And these dense sonic sections are then punctuated by long silences in which the audience is encouraged to be still and see if they can hear the echoes of these communications between our tangible world and the spirit world behind our world, and in the spirit world itself. My vocal part was incredibly fascinating for two reasons. And the first was that the actual vocal part was based on the songs and incantations of the Shipibo people, who are an indigenous Amazonian people who live on the slopes of the Andes. And these vocalizations are beautiful. They're half spoken, half sung. They float up like birds and they fall like stones. It's extremely beautiful. And the second fascinating thing about my part was there was a percussive element. As I said, there was a huge metal bar involved that Mesias brought when we first performed the piece. And he's been working with metal sound objects since the 60s or 70s. This is a huge part of his work. I felt the importance of that bar in this piece very much when you make contact with the bar between your striking device, the sort of fracturing of the sound, the overtones, the boomings, you really feel them sort of rending at this separation between our human world and the spirit world and opening up this intermediary sonic space where communication between the human world and the spirit world can flow. And I also just want to mention that it was so, it just added such an extra layer of revelation to get to perform this work in Ecuador, to be able to look out at the mountains, to see the mist and the forest and smell the air and walk in the dirt there, just added so much more depth and context to the piece.
Well, thank you very much. That's beautifully put. And today we're now going to be showing you the video of the premiere of the work in 2014 in Chicago. Mr. Mesias couldn't join us live. However, he's been very generous and he wrote answers to several of our questions. So please check them out in Fonema's mural, where he's going to be discussing aspects of this particular piece, Ocho Ejercicios, but also his work in general, his roots, and his overall philosophy. So it's really fascinating, and I hope you get a chance to read it. And thank you, Pablo and Nina, for joining me here today. And we hope that you enjoy this piece, which we love so much. We performed it 4 times, and we look forward to the opportunity of professionally recording it, which certainly deserves. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Ra.